Have you ever noticed that the busiest people you know are rarely the wealthiest? Think about it for a moment. They're working 80-hour weeks. They're hustling constantly. They're doing 10 things at once. They're always moving, always busy, always exhausted. But somehow, they're not getting ahead financially. Meanwhile, there's someone else you know who seems to work less, move slower, and do fewer things. And they're building real wealth while everyone else is burning out. What's happening here? Why does doing more sometimes create less? And why does doing less often build more? The answer isn't found in Western productivity advice. It's found in a Japanese concept called ma. Ma literally translates to negative space, interval, or pause, but it's much deeper than that. Ma is the space between things, the pause between actions, the emptiness that makes everything else possible. In Japanese art, ma is the empty space that makes the painted elements beautiful. In Japanese music, ma is the silence between notes that creates the melody. In Japanese architecture, ma is the empty room that makes the house functional. And in Japanese wealth philosophy, ma is the practice of doing less so that what you do matters more. Here's what you need to understand. Western culture worships addition. More meetings, more projects, more investments, more income streams. More. Japanese ma philosophy practices subtraction. Fewer things, done better. Fewer actions, with more impact. Fewer distractions, more focus. Less activity, more results. And the wealthiest people, the ones building generational fortunes, practice ma, whether they know it or not. Today, you'll discover why the space between your actions is more valuable than the actions themselves. Why strategic pauses create more wealth than constant hustle. And why doing less, done right, builds more than doing everything. By the end of this video, you'll understand that wealth isn't built by filling every moment with activity. It's built by mastering the space between. Before we continue, if you're finding value in this, please subscribe to Monetisum, like this video, and comment below. How many things are you doing right now that don't actually build wealth? Now, let's talk about the power of doing less. Chapter 1, The Man Who Couldn't Stop. Let me tell you about a man named James. James was 35 years old and completely exhausted. He ran a digital marketing agency with 7 employees and 40 clients. But that wasn't all. He also had 3 side businesses: an e-commerce store, a consulting practice, and an online course. On top of that, he invested in real estate, traded stocks, and ran a YouTube channel about entrepreneurship. James woke up at 5 in the morning every single day. He worked until midnight, 7 days a week. No breaks, no vacations, no empty space. His calendar was packed solid. Every minute scheduled. Back-to-back meetings from morning to night. Constant emails, always putting out fires, always moving. From the outside, James looked incredibly successful. Multiple income streams, always busy, always hustling. The embodiment of the rise and grind mentality that social media loves to promote. But here's the truth that James tried to hide. After 5 years of this insane schedule, James had less money than when he started. Let me repeat that. After 5 years of working 80-hour weeks with multiple businesses, James had less money than when he started. The marketing agency was profitable, but barely. The constant client demands meant he couldn't scale it. The 3 side businesses were all struggling because he had no time to focus on any of them properly. The real estate investments were poorly chosen because he'd rushed the analysis. The stock trading was losing money because he was making emotional decisions while exhausted. His YouTube channel about entrepreneurship was teaching people to do exactly what was destroying him: hustle harder, do more, never stop. James was doing everything and building nothing. One day, completely burned out, James made a desperate decision. He flew to Japan for 2 weeks. His first vacation in 5 years. He told no one where he was going. He just disappeared. In Kyoto, staying at a traditional ryokan, that as a Japanese in James met an elderly man named Tanaka-san who ran a small tea shop. The shop was only open 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, yet it had been successful for 40 years. James couldn't understand it. He asked, "How do you make enough money only working 16 hours a week?" Tanaka-san smiled and said something that confused James at first. He said, "I don't work 16 hours a week. I work 4,000 hours a year, just like you, but mine are focused. Yours are scattered." Then he explained, "You read like a farmer who plants 100 different crops, but never has time to tend any of them properly. So every harvest is small and poor quality. I plant one crop, contend it with complete attention. My harvest is abundant and premium." Then Tanaka-san taught James about Ma, the concept we're exploring today. He said, "In your culture, you fear empty space. You fill every moment with activity. But activity without Ma is just noise. Ma is the space that makes activity valuable, the pause that makes action powerful, the emptiness that creates wealth." That conversation changed everything for James, and it might change everything for you too. Chapter 2. The 5 Principles of Finance. Over the next year, James studied Ma philosophy and applied it to his financial life. He discovered 5 principles that transformed not just his wealth, but his entire existence. Let me walk you through each of these 5 principles. Pay close attention, because each one contradicts what you've been taught about wealth building. Principle number 1. Strategic subtraction. The Japanese term is haikizan no senryaku. It means strategic subtraction. The first principle of Ma is this: remove before you add. Subtract before you multiply. Most people try to build wealth by adding more income streams, more investments, more projects, more meetings, more activities, just more of everything. Ma teaches the opposite. Build wealth by removing everything that doesn't create disproportionate value. James started with brutal honesty. He listed everything he was doing. Let me read you his list. Marketing agency, which was his main business, e-commerce store, a side business, consulting practice, another side business, online course, yet another side business, real estate investments, stock trading, YouTube channel, 40 clients, 7 employees. That's a lot, right? Now here's what James did. He asked himself the Mia question. If I could only do 3 of these things, which 3 would create the most wealth with the least effort? He sat with that question for a full day, and the answer became clear. Number 1, marketing agency, but with fewer, better clients. Number 2, real estate investments, but with more careful selection. Number 3, online course, but only after the agency was systematized. Everything else? Subtraction candidates. So here's what James did. He shut down the e-commerce store completely. He ended the consulting practice. He stopped trading stocks. He paused the YouTube channel. His friends thought he was giving up. They said, "You're reducing your income streams." That's the opposite of wealth building. You're supposed to diversify. But within 3 months, something remarkable happened. The marketing agency revenue increased by 30%. Why? Because James finally had time to focus on high-value clients and systemize operations instead of constantly putting out fires. The real estate investments started performing better. Why? Because James had time to properly analyze deals instead of rushing decisions while exhausted. His stress decreased by half. His sleep improved. His health recovered. He'd removed 6 things and focused on 3 things. And he made more money than when he was doing 9 things poorly. This is the first principle of Ma Finance. Subtraction often creates more value than addition. Here's your practice for this principle. List everything you're doing to build wealth. Then ask yourself, if I could only do 3 things, which 3 would have the most impact? Then remove or pause everything else. Just try it. Principle number 2. Intentional pause. The Japanese term is etoteki no ma. It means intentional pause. The second principle is this. The pause between actions is where wisdom appears. James discovered he'd been making terrible financial decisions. Not because he was stupid, he wasn't, but because he never paused between decisions. A deal would appear. He'd say yes immediately. An investment opportunity would come up. He'd commit without thinking. A new client would contact him. He'd take them without evaluation. It was constant action with zero pause. All activity with no ma. Tanaka-san had taught him something powerful. He said, between stimulus and response, there must be space. In that space is your power to choose. Without space, you're just reacting like an animal. So James created a new rule. He called it the 24-hour ma rule for all financial decisions. Someone offers him a deal? I need 24 hours to consider this. A client wants to hire him? Let me review this tomorrow and respond. An investment opportunity appears? I'll analyze this and get back to you. Just 24 hours of intentional pause before saying yes or no. The results were shocking. 40% 4 out of every 10 opportunities that he would have said yes to immediately turned out to be terrible deals when examined after 24 hours of May. 40%. Think about that. He'd been saying yes to garbage because he had no space to think clearly. The pause de ma saved him from countless bad decisions. There is a Stanford University study on decision-making that found that people who imposed a mandatory pause between receiving information and making decisions made 37% better choices than those who decided immediately. The space between stimulus and response is where wealth is protected. Here's your practice. Create a mandatory 24-hour pause before any financial decision over $500. No exceptions. The ma will save you. Principle number 3. Negative space focus. The Japanese term is yohaku no shokuri. It means negative space focus. The third principle is this. Focus is not about what you do. It's about what you don't do. James realized his calendar looked like a Tetris game. Every single block filled. Zero empty space. Monday through Sunday. Meetings, calls, tasks, projects. No gaps. No breathing room. No ma. He started applying the Japanese concept of yohaku negative space. In Japanese painting, the unpainted space is as important as what's painted. The empty space creates balance, directs attention, and makes the painted elements powerful. James was a typical entrepreneur, working 80 hours a week, completely burned out. Then he discovered a Japanese philosophy called ma, which means the space between. This concept transformed his life and his finances. Let me tell you how. First, James redesigned his calendar. No meetings before 10 a.m. He called this his morning ma for deep thinking. No meetings after 3 p.m., his afternoon ma for uninterrupted execution. He blocked out every Wednesday entirely for strategy, his weekly May, and one full week every quarter became his quarterly May for long-term vision. His team thought he was crazy. You're scheduling yourself to do nothing? That's lazy, they said. But here's what happened. The morning ma became his most valuable time for strategic decisions. The afternoon ma let him complete projects that had been stalled for months in just days. The Wednesday ma gave him a competitive edge, allowing him to think 3 steps ahead while others were stuck in meetings. And the quarterly ma weeks? That's when he built the systems that scaled his agency without him. His revenue increased while his working hours decreased. Think about that. More money, less time. The empty space, the ma, was more productive than the filled space. So here's your first practice. Block negative space in your calendar. Maybe it's mornings with no meetings, or 1 full day a week with nothing scheduled. You'll find that empty space becomes your most valuable time. Next, James applied ma to his finances. The principle is called Konkaku Toshi, or interval investing. It means the space between investments matters more than the investments themselves. Before, James invested constantly. Any cash he had, he immediately put into stocks, real estate, anything. No pause, no ma. This created 3 huge problems. 1. He invested any price just to deploy capital, never waiting for a good deal. 2. He didn't miss amazing opportunities because he had no cash on hand. He was fully invested in mediocre deals. And 3. He'd invest emotionally, feeling guilty about holding cash. He thought, money not invested is money wasted, and deployed it poorly. Then he learned about interval investing. Instead of constant action, he created intentional intervals. Periods of investing, followed by periods of ma, just holding cash and waiting. He'd invest aggressively, only when an opportunity met his strict criteria. Then, he'd pause, no matter how anxious he felt. The psychological pressure was intense. He'd watch the market and think, I'm missing out. But the results were undeniable. By waiting for excellent opportunities instead of constantly deploying capital, his investment returns doubled. Let me repeat that. They doubled. Not because he was smarter, but because he had the discipline to wait. The MA between investments created more wealth than constant action. Even Warren Buffett practices this, often holding billions in cash, sometimes for years, waiting for the perfect opportunity. The space between his investments is his competitive edge. Your practice. Create intentional intervals. Invest aggressively when your criteria are met. Then hold cash and wait. That interval is where superior returns are hiding. Finally, James tackled his projects with the principle of Kanryo Yisun, or completion priority. The idea is simple. Finish before you start. Complete before you add. James was always starting new things. A new project before the last one was done. A new business before the current one was stable. Always beginning, never completing. No ma between projects. Psychologists call the result of this attention residue. When you jump to a new task, part of your attention stays stuck on the unfinished one. You think you're focused, but you're not. James counted them up. He had 17 unfinished projects. His attention was shattered. No wonder he was exhausted. So he made a new rule. 1 project at a time. Full focus until it's complete. Then, a pause ma. Then, he'd assess if the next project was still relevant. He reviewed his 17 unfinished projects. 3 were worth completing, so he finished them one by one with total focus. The other 14? He abandoned them without guilt. Within 6 months, those 3 completed projects generated more revenue than all 17 incomplete ones combined. The space between projects, the ma, allowed for complete focus, and completion created value. Your practice. No new projects until the current ones are done. Create ma between them. Finish before you start. So, 18 months after discovering ma, James was completely unrecognizable. He was working 30 hours a week instead of 80. His agency's revenue had increased by 60%, not with more clients, but with fewer premium ones. His net worth had tripled, not from doing more, but from doing less, better. But the biggest change was psychological. The constant anxiety vanished. He slept through the night. His health and relationships improved. He discovered something our culture tries to hide. Wealth doesn't come from filling every moment with activity. It comes from mastering the space between. When his old, still hustling business partner asked for his secret, James smiled and said, "Ma, the space between. I used to think wealth came from doing more, but it comes from doing less strategically, removing what doesn't matter, pausing before deciding, and finishing what I start." His partner said, "You're confusing inaction with strategy." James replied, "No, I'm confusing your constant action with strategy. You're not strategic. You're just busy. There's a difference. You're busy. I'm building. Now, you might be thinking this sounds good, but is there any science behind it? Absolutely. An MIT study found that workers who took intentional breaks were 32% more productive. University of Michigan research showed that people who paused before decisions made significantly better choices. Cal Newport's research on deep work proved that uninterrupted focus time produces higher quality output in less time. The pattern is clear. The space between actions creates value that constant action destroys. The game of wealth isn't about who does the most. It's about who does the right things with complete focus. And focus requires ma. It requires space, pauses, and emptiness. Western culture will tell you this is lazy, that you need to hustle harder. But look at who's truly wealthy. It's not the busiest people. It's the focused people, the ones who've mastered ma. So here's your challenge. What can you subtract this week? What meeting can you remove? What project can you pause? What empty space can you create in your calendar? Practice May for just 1 month. Do less, but better. Watch what happens when you stop filling every moment and start mastering the space between. If this video changed how you think about productivity and wealth, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Tell me in the comments, what is the first thing you remove to create ma in your life? Remember, the space between is where the wealth is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.